we had the relaunch this afternoon. Rejigged the server around, a lot of new tools coming in, new monitors, new A2As, new features, new tools, lots going on. Obviously the big rebrand as well, even down to some custom server emojis or brand emojis. So we've been working hard behind the scenes trying to get it in a good place for everyone. Oh, has everybody had a good look around, seeing what's come online today since we dropped it all in? Obviously, you can feel free to speak out if you prefer. If not, you've got the text chat at the sides. If you want to ask any questions and you don't want to speak out, shoot them in there. I'll catch them if I can, but you've obviously got a few staff members in as well, so everybody help out, I'm sure. Right, given the initial tech problems, let me see if I can share my screen without ruining everything else. With a bit of luck, you can see my screen now. Someone give me the okay before I carry on and talk to myself for 10 minutes again.
Yeah, good to go, guys.
Cool. So, not ideal because I can't zoom in, but obviously channel list and categories down on the left. There'll be a few here that...
Sorry to interrupt you guys. If people just go to the top left and click watch stream, then you can see Gaz's screen for the people who haven't been here before.
Good shout.
You just have to click on the top left box and it says watch stream, and then that'll take you to Gaz's page. Sorry, mate.
That's okay, mate. So as I said, there's a couple of categories here that are only here because I'm obviously on the staff team at Source Central. I almost said Ace then, nearly got me. But generally speaking, let's work our way down. First sort of main one really, the important category, where you're going to see the announcements. Anything server related or major from Amazon's point of view, you're going to see them appear in either of these two channels. The main one being Source Post, that's related to everything we're doing in the server, whether that be updating you on something new. We're still working on some things behind the scenes, so over the next few days you might find there's a couple of announcements in there just letting you know that something else has been released into the server for everyone's use. Open a ticket, same as before, obviously, but refer a friend. For those who missed the announcement about it, you now get £15 every month when you bring somebody. Refer your friend, as the title says, refer your friend. For every month that they are on board with us as a pro member, you get £15 a month back in affiliate. So, bring in 3 friends and that's your pro membership paid for every month. So free sub sounds like a pretty good deal to me for just bringing 3 people along. Everybody's networking as it is, talking to everybody, so it should be easy enough for plenty of you to get involved. And obviously those who are still on the basic membership, a lot of the new stuff that's dropped as part of this relaunch are pro features. So being on the pro membership or subscription level will get you access to all of them. Obviously your storefront stalker we already had in place, but Vinted monitors come in. We've got the custom A2A bot for UK market, but we've also got the EU A2A coming as well. Not keeper based, it's all in-house developed. So whereas most other servers tend to rely on keeper, that lets them all get the same information at the same time. Basically, we've managed to develop something that's faster than keeper for finding these drops. So there should be some big things coming for that over the coming days. I think it's still getting tweaked here and there, just to fine tune it. But generally speaking, it's going to be rocking and rolling. We've had a bit of a break-up on tools and some of the resources and stuff, just rejig things around a little bit to make them hopefully a little bit easier to find. Stock checkers, we've crunched them down into one channel, nice and straightforward. Obviously an explanation, but click whichever store you want there and it'll tell you how to use the stock checkers in whatever form is available, whether that's an in-house developed one or via the website, which is obviously pretty self-explanatory, but there's plenty covered in there, and we'll keep adding to them as and when we can. Private monitors, potentially very underutilised. Monitoring when products are out of stock and they're coming back in stock, whether that be on Amazon or on general OA sites, and price monitors as well, watching for price fluctuations up and down. If you're waiting for something to drop in price, perhaps go on sale, you can stick a monitor on it and keep that private just to yourself as well, so that no one else can see what you're sort of monitoring. We have chopped up the house arrangements, so you are still split into 4 groups, but we've dropped the Harry Potter theme in on that and dropped the chats for each one as well. You're still going to get the leads in the same way. Your group before, you'll just be in a numbered group now. Everybody's in the same group as they were before, relative to one another. Once you're in a group, I don't really want to jump in right now because I don't want to show everybody's leads from that group to the whole server. But when you're in there, you can right click on a link and say create thread. And that way you can start a conversation about a particular lead. So if you've got a question about a lead that's in there where you might have used to talk in your house chat room, right click the lead, click create thread and start the conversation there, and the VAs and the staff team will be keeping an eye on those as well, so that we can jump in and help where there's any questions. We'll trial that system for now. Hopefully it works well, but if anybody could see a better way of doing it, prefers the old way, whatever it might be, just let us know and we'll try and keep things to suit the masses as much as possible. Obviously we're in the workshop here, but ungate requests, we have got something big dropping. I think it's been in the announcements now, so I don't think I'm stepping on toes by mentioning it, but we've got an AI system coming in that is going to enable you to basically request a brand and it will find the ungate for you. So I'm not quite sure on whether this takes time to develop or whether it's already up and running in terms of is every brand in there and it sources it itself, or does it collate them over time? I haven't seen it in action myself. I just know it's dropping either any minute or certainly any day now. It's just being fine-tuned behind the scenes. So that's going to be a big one for those who are looking for ungates, because it's a frustrating element of doing this whole Amazon business. Amazon to Amazon is pretty much the same as before. We've obviously got the staff picks channel, which is the sort of semi-vetted stuff that as soon as staff see the details on it and they think it's looking good, we'll ping it and alert everybody to try and shave you a bit of time off, especially for those perhaps lesser experienced. And then obviously you've just got the splitting categories and slightly different filters and things just to try and catch different things. But I think in time, the new A2A that we've developed is potentially going to replace those, because ultimately it's going to be catching everything quicker than these channels will, because these are keeper based, whereas we're going to non-keeper based. We've dropped a lot more into the pro section, just to try and collate it all a bit easier, so those who aren't in there at the moment, you obviously won't see this category, but the big feature that we offer is personal one-to-one calls with a member of staff. Paul and Stace generally tend to take charge with those. So if you're particularly new or you're stuck with things and you'd like to talk to somebody rather than just using tickets and things, you can look to book a call and have a good chat with somebody. Or if you need some help with scaling or how to perhaps utilize a different sourcing method or anything you like, they're there for you. So that's a big perk of being in the pro member, especially for the new sellers. The custom A2A bot is up and running. As I say, I think it's just being fine-tuned as we go, tinkering around with filters and things. We've had a couple of suggestions already. I know some people want a clickable ASIN perhaps, or a way to copy and paste the ASIN from here into SAS. So I think that's being looked at behind the scenes on how best to, or how easiest to add that in for everybody. But as I mentioned before, just keep the suggestions coming. We'll take everything on board and try and develop it to suit. Paul's favourite has come back. price errors, but or Amazon specific price errors, usually third party FBA, but you every now and again you'll catch some absolute bangers in this category, especially for personal stuff. When it was last active, we were catching all sorts of food and cleaning products and washing machine powders and all sorts that were just crazily discounted, clearly an error. And yeah, I think some people have still got jars of the tomato puree, some sort of tomato pasta sauce, and they bought it by the case loads. There'll be plenty of people with that left over, I'm sure. So there's just a couple of different categories there, slightly different filters, whether it be business price or regular personal Amazon account prices. And obviously you've got some of the trainer flips that are in here as well, that you get access to when being a pro member. So I know a lot of people transition from that sort of scene over to FBA as well. So this is getting constantly updated, week in, week out with new drops and what's coming. So it's good to keep an eye on it. And here's what I was saying before, just the rejigging around with certain channels. So we've got resources and tools separated out now. So it should just be that little bit easier to find, a little bit more obviously located. As I say, we're going to jump back onto the tutorials and video guides showing you how to do things. Next one is to update the storefront bot to the latest method with the webhook that I know some people probably still might not have updated. The storefront bot is active, is working. You've just got to do something slightly different than you did before. So as soon as that video is updated, I'll let everybody know on there. Retail is pretty much the same, all the stores. Let's have a quick look. Order of the Phoenix is still named there at the moment. I don't think it's quite been decided on the name for it now that we're dropping the Harry Potter ideas, but the group, the category will still be there, so you can still get rotation in there. If you're a lifetime member, you're obviously in there full time, so you get all the leads from every group. So really positive tool to be in that one. I think that covers everything for now. Just double check I'm not skipping anything out. Paul, Jay, Stace, have I missed anything?
I think you can, mate.
Cool. Has anybody got any questions about anything that has changed today? Anything relating to the new server before we move on to a general Q&A session, if that's what everybody would prefer? Feel free to speak.
Do you know the fucking hell, just heard myself then. The Ungate channel,
Yep.
AI, will that be instant, and will that be straight into your DMs, will it?
This is what I'm not completely sure on, because I've not been working on that one personally. I've seen glimpses of it, and it's basically typing in a command. I think it's something like ! request, and then you literally type the brand that you're looking for, Nivea, Dove, whatever, and the bot searches it out. What I'm not entirely sure on is whether it just literally goes out to Google and does it for you, or whether it's preloaded with whatever has been added in the first place and continually updates over time. We could have done with perhaps Imran popping in to give us a brief on that, but he's super excited with it, and if he's excited, then that usually means it's going to be good. So
I'm messaging him now, guys.
yeah, see if he can jump on, see if he's got anything he can share with us whilst it's been his sort of pet project.
I think the test case was instant, and it was your individual messages, I think.
Was it?
Right.
No, it's certainly going to change the game on it. I've not seen anything like that anywhere else. It's going to be interesting. Ungating is such a painful part of the process, especially as a newer seller. So any way of making that easier, finding the cheapest ungate options is going to help a lot. Especially if it's instant as well. You know, you're not waiting around for anybody to chime in and reply to tell you what they used or what you could try and use. You know, most of the time everybody's pretty quick, but it's not always black and white, is it? So a system that can do it all for you is a big change.
I think the Vinted monitors as well and the Gregito monitors, they're going to be amazing to use as well. Especially, obviously, you're not going to use them all the time for all your sourcing, but just different avenues to make money, especially the Vinted monitor. I mean, there's loads of money to be made on the Vinted monitor nowadays, and it's good to put that into the server as well. Adds a little bit of something else as well to get with your FBA.
That's it. It's just increasing that amount of tools and things that are available to you, isn't it? And getting them all in one place so that you can maximise.
Gaz, for
profits.
those that don't know, that saw the raffle earlier, can you explain a bit more about the raffles that we're starting to do again?
Yeah, raffles, it was something that we used to do. I'm not entirely sure why it stopped at the time. I think it might have just been that there wasn't somebody available to keep on top of them. But generally, leads that aren't perhaps suited to go into each group because perhaps they're maybe less than 50 sales a month, for example, so slightly slower sellers, but they may still have good returns. But if it goes into a group with 20, 30, 40, 50 people in there, then and everybody goes for it, if it's a slow seller, you're going to be holding them for a while. So we try not to post those in as house leads, but it's a shame for them to go to waste. So brought the raffle system back. I think it says on the post at the time how many entries can win it. I think the one before was 3. Usually they don't last too long in terms of they don't give you too long to sort of add your entry to it, and whoever wins it basically gets given the lead. So as I say, that one that went on before was only 30 sales per month, but it was a low competition lead, good returns, and 3 people have won that. So whether they buy it or not, it's obviously totally up to them, but it's a vetted lead, so they're solid and they're good to go, and it's just another avenue of opportunity to get leads. But yeah, I'm thinking about the Vinted one, Paul. I haven't done much outside of Amazon, so I'm looking forward to that one coming in because I see a lot about that. It seems to be the sort of latest craze, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was done a lot of stuff with Vinted with selling trainers before. I was doing FBA. Again, if a monitor can tell you something's at this price and you know it sells at a higher price, it's just more profit for you. And you could be waiting for an ungate, you could be waiting for one of your boxes to go into Amazon, you could be waiting for anything. So if you're not doing anything, you're wasting time, really. So you can go on Vinted monitors, buy things off there, sell them back on there, and just keep the profit churning. So whatever you're waiting for comes in, really. It's just another cog to the whole system.
And it's a case of buying it and flipping it straight back on there, just like we do with A2A.
Yeah, I mean, let's say, for example, you could get Hugo Boss jumper. You know what I mean? It could come up for £20 or whatever. And then the same Hugo Boss jumper is being sold on Vinted by other people for £60, whatever. Vinted have got security, so you can send it to them. You've got security on your money to be sent, so they can't just say they haven't got it or anything like that. And again, it's just a quick profit. We used to call them brick flips back in the day when we were doing shoes, but it's just more ways, again, to get your profit up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Can't see now, Gaz.
Boss man, he's in the building.
I'm here. How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, we've just done a good walkthrough, quickly recapped on what's changed, what's adjusted, just in case anybody wasn't aware of anything or hadn't spotted something. We were just wondering whether you knew anything that you could tell us about the AI ungates or any of the other features that perhaps hasn't been gone over in great detail beyond the announcements and stuff, or when they're coming in, perhaps, if they're not already in, if there's anything you can share with us.
Yeah, of course. No, that sounds good. First of all, thank you for going over everything really, really well. In terms of Ungate AI, I'll quickly go over that. So the process at the minute when it comes to Ungate is that you pop a request in, a user will then try to find that Ungate, might go ahead and try and look for that particular stock level, see if it's available, and then obviously recommend that what we've done in the background is we've compiled a massive database of not only sources, but also product links as well. What AI would do is automate that system and allow you to speak to that database. So instead of going into the channel, making a request and waiting for a human user to then review that request and give you an ungate, you would essentially speak to the database. For example, if I do a really easy one like Lego or Gucci, the database would then say, right, I've got Lego available here. Why don't you try this product link? And then the AI aspect is if you turn around and say, actually, that doesn't work, it would try product link 2. If that doesn't work, we can go and say, okay, so our current resources are not available, but you can try from website 1, website 2, website 3, and you might want to sort by low to high. So we automate that process, making it really, really quick in terms of ungates. And it just means that you're not waiting around as well. So if you imagine you've got a ping, you're thinking, is it even possible to ungate this brand? You could speak to the AI bot, you've got a list of options. And if those options are out of stock, which we all know can happen sometimes, for example, with Braun and you've got the Shavers website, instead it will give you a bunch of resources and websites to look at that you can potentially source for yourself as well. So it's a way to speak to the database in a really efficient manner and make sure that you can get your ungate even quicker and with options.
So is that something that we update over time and keep adding to it, or is the AI, does that learn in any way, or how does that work over time?
Yeah, really good question. So a bit of both. That's sort of the beauty of using AI, is that it's continuously learning as well. So again, just sort of leaning on the Braun example, where we've said, right, a user said, right, I can use this website and that website. Telling that information means it can update its database. And then as we add more product links, or when we share more product links, again, it will start to register that in the database. So what happens is the database now will be able to give you both the source and the product links as well. So yeah, a little bit of both. Now, obviously, we can manually update the database, but the more we interact and the more users interact with requests, the AI would actually look into it and try to compile a list of products as well.
Yeah, it's pretty mega, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's sort of the beauty of using AI. One thing we haven't touched upon in announcements is integrating AI into other aspects within the server. And obviously, AI, as everyone knows, is a bit of a unique topic, to say the least, because it can be manipulated in different ways. So obviously, I think most people are aware of things like ChatGPT. What we want to do, and sort of the overarching plan, is to integrate it into things like deal analysis as well. There's maybe an A2A ping, or if there's something like a discount drop, is it clever enough to pluck that out, analyze it, and then share that lead as well? So we have got AI for ungates, which is slightly easier because the main functionality is speaking to a database. But our overarching development with AI is to try to integrate it into other aspects of the server as well. So support, that could be a really easy one. Instead of having static guides, maybe we can have AI similar to ChatGPT, obviously not at the same level, but in the sense of feeding it that information in terms of guides, and then you now having a bit of a automated support panel instead of a user-based support panel. And again, the main difference being is that will be instant support.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how AI adapts over time and how we can bring it in and utilize it in all aspects, won't it? I mean, if it can get to the point where it can be doing analysis for you, then it's got massive time-saving potentials.
Yeah, exactly.
I think also, sorry,
No,
I think
current.
also the first thing that comes to my mind was if we're using AI for the ungate, and the ungate comes up with a website or something where I can buy the ungate from, the first thing I'm thinking of is what else is on that website. So we can help you with sourcing as well, because if you found a website, or AI's found you a website that's got these products on for the cheap price, then what else is on there? So it's all about looking at that website as well. So it's just another bow in the armor, really, of trying to source products.
Yeah, spot on. So yeah, we've got a lot of plans with AI, but because it's a developing feature, it's something, the more we add more to it, the more it will grow and sort of learn more as well in itself as well. So yeah, we're definitely keen to integrate AI into a lot of different aspects in the server. It should be exciting times. I did just want to ask, did we cover anything about auto leads?
We didn't. That's it'd be good if you could touch on it for us.
Awesome. Yeah, so auto leads, I'm really excited for this one. There's a lot of background work being done. But the idea of auto leads is there's two folds in terms of how it would work. And I'd say that most people are sort of familiar with sourcing websites like RBSource, etc. And in a similar vein, what they do is scrape the websites, look for the good deals, and try to post it. So that's essentially one of the phases that we want to look into. So in the background, certain periods of time, scrape the websites, try to pluck out some good leads. And if it does find the leads, post it into OA. We also want to try to integrate it with the price drop monitors as well. So price drop monitor comes, instead of people manually reviewing and because sometimes with price drop monitors, it might show 30%, but it's actually a really good lead. And obviously, a lot of the times, like myself, I only look for the 70% or the 50% discounts. But what happens is because there's an influx of price drop monitors, like on very Smiths on the same day, it's very easy to miss those. So the idea with auto leads is to scrape websites and post leads. And then the other one is integrate with price drop monitors. If there's a good lead, just automate that process a little bit as well and feed that into OA. Now, there's obviously a small caveat with that the leads might not be always good, because the idea is it would try to pluck out the lead and say this might be a potential good lead. But what it does ensure is that we can really quickly, whenever there's a price drop, whenever there's scraped websites which no one's reviewed, we can very quickly pluck out those leads as well. So auto leads is essentially automatic leads, but it integrates with different systems. So we've got, as I mentioned, I won't go into too much technicality, but we've got databases in the background for various retailers. We've got databases in terms of A2A. And what we do want to do is sort of get all of those databases speaking to each other and say, right, I recognize this lead, I recognize this source, this is potentially a good lead, let's post it into OA. And obviously, we've got staff at hand who will just double check if it picks up an error, it picks up a lead which is not quite good. But we've also put restrictions in place as well to ensure it's, in terms of sales volume, it's 100+ sales. So it wouldn't give you the slow sellers, and same with ROI as well, similar to how we see our current A2A system. But yeah, that's exactly what auto leads is. Really exciting. Again, I don't want to call it a mini RBSource. I think that would be giving RBSource a bit of discredit. But the concept is very similar, where we scrape a website, take the best. If there is a matching lead, post it into OA, and then hopefully that'd be a really quick way to get some leads into the channel as well, without relying on user views. So Ozark and Alpha have got a bit of pressure.
Competition coming for them.
Is this an in-house tool, Khan, or is it external?
In-house. Everything that we've discussed, all in-house. Yeah, and kind of similar to AI, the more we expand our databases, the more we expand our sort of resources, it can only just get bigger and better. So yeah, really, really exciting. But yeah, all in-house, everything I've discussed, from the Ungates channel to the A2A, all built in-house.
And what are we looking at in terms of timescales, do you think? When can we perhaps look, when might we be seeing these things appear in the server, do you think? Have we got timeframes at the moment?
Very soon. So with Ungates AI, I know Imran's doing a bit of work on that, and he said he's done quite well on it. So I think we'll see that one soon. And then with auto leads, I don't see more than a week or so. And again, what we're going to do is do a small bit of batch testing, make it live, give everyone access. And then once we know that initial run is doing really well, again, we just carry on expanding, putting a bit more resources into it, and trying to just get more leads in.
Good stuff. And obviously, if people are quite interested in Vinted and Cogita monitors, what might we be looking at in terms of timeframes for those starting to appear, do you think?
Yeah, Vinted is a good one because, as I said, we've already got a working model in place. So just working with the dev, maybe sometime later tonight or even tomorrow in terms of Vinted. And again, what we're going to do with Vinted is just get a few channels running, get some early leads in, get everyone acquainted to it as well, because I know there's a lot of people who are new to Vinted, get some guides set up as well, but we'll definitely ensure early access to the monitors. So for Vinted, no more than talking hours really, so we can get a few channels ready today, definitely set up by tomorrow. The main thing with Vinted, we just want to ensure we've got some accompanying guides as well. So we'll put the channels out first, just so people can get acquainted for it. Just see how the system works, see how the monitors work. And the way the monitors work is really good. You've got the brands, got the price. As soon as something new appears on Vinted, we've also got the quick links as well, so you can quickly buy it. And then the guides as well, we're hoping to work on those in the background. So yeah, that monitors no more than 24 hours or so, and then the guides maybe just a few more days.
Are we looking at straight add to cart or straight to purchase when it comes to the quick buttons, quick links?
So we are working on the add to cart will be nice and simple. That's ready. There is a small method to do straight to checkout, so it purchases it for you. Obviously, a bit of I think the guys who do a lot of sneaker reselling, they will understand this a little bit more. But there is ways to sort of integrate your own tokens into the bot. So we are looking at it. It's sort of again, needs a bit of testing. What I have found out from testing is that the add to cart and then buy button works faster than the token approach anyway. So yeah, with Vinted, we are sort of looking at different ways we can try and automate that process, but the buy button alone will be completely fine in terms of checking things out really quickly.
Yep, all sounds good. I think everybody's just keen now to see things rolling out and seeing how it can help them with the sourcing and what avenues and revenue streams that we might be able to add in. I'm looking forward to the Vinted one. Not something that I've been familiar with, so it'd be good to add another sort of string to the bow.
Yeah, definitely. I think like with Vinted, genuinely, when we ran the bot the first time, and obviously we've refined it a little bit now, but there are some massive bargains, and you could start to see why people find it so profitable, because you've got your general discounts. So for example, the main brand that we focused on is Ralph Lauren, just because of how active it was. And the leads are twofold, to be honest, because you have got your general discounts. So for example, we've got things like new but without the tags or in very good condition. Now, if you're someone who's got a good network, or you sell a lot online, there's nothing stopping you from buying a cheap Ralph Lauren jacket, taking it to the dry cleaners, or if you've got a steamer, giving it a bit of new lease of life and then reselling it. So that's sort of the most obvious way. And then the other one is just the glitches where someone makes a mistake, or to just price it really cheap but it's still good. So for example, I've seen a few Ralph Lauren hoodies for like 20-30 quid, which is unheard of really. And you can imagine just selling that locally, selling it back on Vinted, really easy, and just doubling the price. If you've got a steamer, you've better pictures, even things like that. And you see some of the pictures like I've seen a few nice Ralph Lauren shirts, but they've not even been ironed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can just imagine buying it for cheap, a tenner Ralph Lauren shirt, giving it a little steam, giving it a little iron, taking the pictures correctly, and suddenly you can double, triple your money. And with Vinted as well, again, this is more for the people who've never done it before. It is one of one, which is a different angle to Amazon. So instead of having 100 units, 1,000 units, it is one of one. Once you've brought it, that's off the market. So there is that competition mitigation as well, which is really good with Vinted.
So a lot of the time it can just be about speed, similar to A2A, because without the competition aspect as well, you're a lot more limited in availability.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, you would need to be active 100%. We've added a few more channels, so we've got things like Nike Dunks. The good thing with Vinted, it is in general a really active website. So Ralph Lauren is ridiculous in terms of how many new items you see, but also things like Nike Dunks, Air Jordans do see a lot of activity. So even if you miss something, just keeping an eye on the channel, things do pop up. And those are the kind of categories I think we're gonna go for. You got things like Stone Island, and then the sort of high-end retailers, which we can probably combine together because the availability will be a little bit lower. And then you've got your day-to-day Dunks, Air Jordans, etc., that we can really tackle. In terms of fakes and stuff, that's a good question. Obviously, you've got buyer protection as well. So again, when we've got the guides out, we will not only cover buying of Vinted in general, but also how to check for fakes, etc. as well. But you are covered by Vinted as well. If you do get something you're like, this is obviously a fake, you know, if you buy some Air Jordans and you see a guy with a cricket bat on there, you know, you can raise that with Vinted as well. So it's not like you're buying it and then you're stuck with it. You can actually raise it, and you've got buyer protection as well.
In a similar way to Amazon, where the customer's always right kind of angle that they use.
Yeah, similar boat. When you go onto Vinted, it gives you the option. It does say buyer protection as well. I think they usually give you the price of the jacket or shirt or trainers, and then the purchase price with the buyer protection as well. But yeah, a lot of this will be covered in the guides. We do want to get some really in-depth guides written for Vinted. And of course, there's a lot of people, sort of, Imran's got a lot of background in sort of sneaker reselling and clothes as well. So if you did ever buy something and you wanted to get a second opinion as to whether it's fake or if there's anything to look out for, anyone's always welcome to raise a ticket and we can look at it.
Yeah, someone
Yeah,
like myself who
this-
doesn't know what they're doing, but wants to get into it, having people here that we can talk to about it is obviously, it's going to make it so much easier to get involved in it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of money to be made in Vinted. I've been pleasantly surprised just running the monitors and keeping an eye on it. It's good stuff, and I think we will see it increase in popularity when it comes to Vinted. There's a lot of money to be made on it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see these things rolling out. I think we might have covered everything that's dropping, unless you can think of anything else. But obviously, there's constant work going on behind the scenes. This is what I was telling everybody earlier, that we're working on things, working on guides. Obviously, I'm jumping back into video guides soon. You're developing the guides for the newer tools, and hopefully we can really build up this library of information and guidance to help everybody.
Yeah, spot on. Did we cover 808 EU as well, which is coming soon, hopefully?
Only in that it is coming. I've just mentioned that it's not live just yet. It's still just going through some testing to make sure it's doing what we want it to do, but it's dropping soon, we think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're in a position where, again, anything we do want to release, with it being non-keeper based, there's a couple of sort of key variables that we want to look out for. First one being speed. We want to be the fastest. We want to make sure that you're getting the pings quicker than keeper, because that's the beauty of being quicker than keeper, is that you're ahead of everyone else. You've got 5-10 minutes to go through the product, and you know, as we all know, when there's that 10 out of 10 lead and it posts on keeper, everyone's going to be on it. So that gap that you have can be really efficient. We've seen the odd lead where it's pings, and as soon as it's posted on keeper, it's gone within 2-3 minutes, and that's people botting, that's really active user groups, that's people on keeper themselves. A lot of people forget that there's users on keeper, you know, in the tens and thousands who are not part of any group, right? So with 808 EU, one of the key variables is speed, and then the other one as well is we want to try to reduce spam. And I think we've in a really good position. As I said, we've got a lot of databases in the background which speak to each other. And again, the idea is there'll be very little point of us releasing an A2A EU bot and you've just got 1,000 leads posting every 10 seconds. Because I know some groups have got a keeper base, but because it's keeper base, it's just pinging all day. So yeah, those two variables we're working on, and it's looking good so far. So yeah, I think what we'll do is, just to make sure that our guys have got access, we'll probably drip feed categories and areas as well within the A2A EU bot, so it's there, it's live, you can start buying stuff, and over time start building that criteria to ensure that it's hitting all products as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I do like the A2A stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, so Germany's the main marketplace we've been just testing stuff on, and it's picked out a few good leads.
And are they potentially replens as well, as opposed to price errors? Is it? Have you noticed any that are just for whatever reason cheaper over there, so we can potentially find replens that way? That'd be a unique angle, wouldn't it, for A2A?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, really good question, because that's exactly what we didn't notice. I remember messaging Jay. I don't know if he's on the call or not. I don't think he is. But I messaged Jay saying, mate, like, this has been in stock for the last 2 months in Amazon Germany. I could have replened this for the last 3 months. And he was like, yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, with A2A EU, it's a little bit crazy in the sense of there are literal replens where Amazon are priced, for months on end, which means we can constantly stock up. In terms of how we would do it from an A2A point of view, we probably wouldn't constantly ping it, or else it would just ruin it. But yeah, what I would recommend, like a massive tip, is when you do see an A2A EU ping, it might just be worth just checking the history, because if it's continuously at that price, you can maybe store it, save it on Keeper, and maybe wait after that initial influx of new sellers, and then you've got a nice little replen for Amazon.
Yeah, it's something that I mention a lot when doing these workshops, is looking at the historic leads in groups and in the main OA channel, looking 3, 4, 5 months back, even longer, and quite often you find that you see that initial influx when it's obviously pinged, but most things then tend to recover over usually a relatively short period of time from an FBA perspective, and then potentially become a replen. And that's how I've found most of my replens over the last 2 years now, is just going back over old leads and picking out the good ones that have recovered, and bluntly, the ones everybody forgets about, because you buy it when it's first dropped, and especially for newer sellers, it's always a good tip that because it dropped in price and there was competition, and you had to hold or sell it cheaper than you were hoping to, and you kind of write it off then, and you shouldn't. You should keep it on file and check it again each month, every 2 months, whatever it might be. Set yourself up with a little system or a list of old ones that you can just go back on and check from time to time, and you'll find replens, no doubt. That's been my main way of doing it for 2 years now, so it's definitely worth doing.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, really good advice, that, and yeah, totally agree. I think when we see that initial influx, it's very easy to forget about the leads or just think that it's never going to appear again, and it's quite common. And I think where we are quite unique as a group is we've got OA leads, but we've also got the subgroup leads as well, which do ping a lot of replen leads, but it might just not seem at that time. And then obviously you do see competition, which it just the way it is in the Amazon world. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of replens within the server as well. It's just about getting into that habit of, as you said, storing the data, setting up a little database somewhere, and then spending 5 minutes to check back on it.
Yeah,
I think what I might do is just quickly go through some questions I've noticed. I think when I was speaking, I might have missed a few questions. I don't know if they've been covered. For example, RB Source having a lot of mismatched products. Shall I just go through them?
Yeah, you can. Once we were finishing chatting, I was going to go through the chat and catch up on any that weren't answered, so we can do that now. We've been on for nearly an hour, so let's go through them.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
The floor's yours.
Oh, nice one. Pressure's on me. Right, in terms of arbiters, yeah, it does, to be honest, have a lot of mismatches. With the system that I'm going to set up with auto leads, is we are using, again, I don't want to go into too much details, but we're using a couple of metrics to see if it matches. I know arbiters does the same, but depending on your filters, you can sort of increase the likelihood of it being matched and obviously decrease it as well. So you're accepting that it can make a few mistakes. For us with the auto leads, we're going to be going on the other side where it's really strict in terms of matching data. So yeah, we shouldn't see a lot of mismatch of products, but again, we're going to have stuff on hand as well to just double check the products. Elliot, in terms of Kagita, yeah, so we have got Kagita monitors coming in place. Very good question. Is it a safe place to purchase stock from? The answer is, if being brutally honest, is yes and no. Like any sort of wholesale website, you can just set up some additional filters. For example, it's a verified supplier, they provide invoices, and obviously you can do the reviews as well. So that's obviously your basic overview into looking for a good supplier. But of course, you have got dodgy suppliers as well. So just keep that in mind when it comes to Kagita. I don't want to sort of tell everyone you can purchase from any supplier on Kagita. You still need to do your own due diligence as well. So yeah, it's just about making sure you put the right metrics and checklists as well. So the most obvious one is it a UK supplier? You can put that filter in. Do they provide invoices? You can put that filter in.
I was just going to say that's one of the new features that they've brought in. Is the invoicing, isn't it? Is an invoice available from the supplier? Because obviously you're going to need that potentially in the event of an IP claim or anything like that from Amazon's end. So look at filtering it out. I believe you can do that now to see just the sources that offer that feature, which is obviously
spot on,
a big improvement.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there are. Obviously, you're going to get your dodgy suppliers as well, but there's a lot of filters that you can put in place which will mitigate a lot of the risk. And I think with Kagita, when you make your first purchase order, you can see the supplier anyway. So if you do feel, maybe you don't want to go down the EU route, again, you can put that in your filter if you want to make sure it's a UK supplier, but then you see something like Spartan Wholesaler. I don't know if anyone remembers who that is. Then obviously you might want to just cancel the order. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I think we mentioned this when we were speaking. Worry about fakes. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to have guides available. Of course, you've got buyer protection as well. And then again, you're always more than welcome to just give us open a ticket or even pop it in the chat. There's a lot of guys who know a lot of stuff about sneaker reselling and clothes. Yeah, tracking profits on Vinted, that's a good point. I'll make a note of that because obviously there's no seller boards sort of SDK equivalent at the moment. But yeah, definitely that's a good point. I'll see if we can add that to the guides.
Might be a Google sheet or something we can put together, basic one to help people get started.
Yeah, we've got quite a few devs now, so we've allowed Umar to relax a little bit. So yeah, we've got a lot more devs, a lot more opinions. So we could definitely get a basic sheet set up, and maybe with a bit of motivation, we can get something a little bit better set up as well. Paul, yeah, game changer. For those that don't know, Paul absolutely smashes the 70% discount channel. Like, I think he's just kitted out half of his area with that channel. Like, it's amazing. Similar, just keep an eye on it, and when you see something good, just go for it, man. But yeah, definitely a game changer. In fact, everything that we've brought in, it's exactly what it says on the tin. The idea is that we don't just want to be an A2A specialist. We don't just want to be OA. We want to do everything, so you're covered in all aspects. And that's exactly what the server does. If you like sourcing, you've got private monitors, restock monitors, your storefront stalker. If you want sort of support or advice, one-to-one calls, we've got that covered. If you got OA, we've got that covered. If you don't like competition, we've got subgroups and we've got raffle leads as well. And then, of course, with A2A, we've got a non-keeper based A2A. So you're in a unique position where everyone else is using keeper. We're the only ones not using A2A. And that database will expand as well. I think I've seen a couple ping as well. And this is sort of almost phase one. And as we grow, you will see more pings as well. But it was interesting. I saw like the HP Inc. ping, and then it pinged in Keeper straight after. The reason for that is what, again, I won't bore anyone with the technicalities, but Keeper relies a lot on user data. So all of us browsing Keeper, we will trigger Keeper price updates as well. And so what would have happened is someone clicked the link for the HP Inc. and it would have triggered Keeper. So you can see how if no one was to trigger Keeper, which you can change the settings, I'll put it in a mini announcement a bit later actually, where you can tell Keeper not to track the prices, but you can see how good that is. So if no one triggered Keeper, no one, any other group who uses Keeper would not have seen that ping, right? So it's a good way to sort of illustrate how effective this can be, especially with products which don't ping in Keeper at all. So exciting times, man. Exciting times. George, yeah, look. I think in terms of key criteria, I think it will range for everyone, to be honest. Especially when they pop up in things like discount monitors. Yeah, I guess it depends on your position. What I would say is a diversified portfolio, and I guess it depends on where you are on your Amazon stage as well, but my recommendation is always looking at a diversified portfolio. Don't necessarily ignore the £2 leads because they come in quite handy if they're selling in the background with low competition. And at the same time, you don't want to put your eggs in all your eggs in the basket for the sort of really fast selling high profit leads as well, because they will get a lot of attention. So I'd say the best approach for me is to just diversify your product range a little bit as well. If you're starting from zero, then I think that especially you need to look out for. So having a good blend of really profitable leads, and at the same time the leads which are selling well but ticking in the background, if that makes sense. I think that'll really build your capital quickly and allow you to reinvest as well. Loopy Loop, the storefront stock is already available. Like, hands up, we've done a terrible job promoting it, to be completely honest. But we have got a storefront stalker, works really well. You find the store that you want to stalk, add it, and then whenever they add a new product, you will get a notification. So you can see already, instead of you manually storefront stalking, you're now getting a notification when they add a new product. And there's a much more likelihood of sourcing that product when they've recently added it. So instead of you finding a store and we've got no idea when they've added that product, it could be a month ago, it could be 2 months ago, we've got no idea. With the storefront stalker, you know they've added it in the last day or so. A lot more potential to find that lead.
Yeah, I touched on it earlier I need to update the video now to include the webhook element, but Loopy Loo, if you look at the video guide channel in resources is where it's moved to, I think now, there is a video in there that shows you how to use it in terms of how you add and remove stores. You do that within the server itself, but only you can see it. It's private to you. And then if the video hasn't been updated, but by the time you've done that, open a ticket and we'll talk you through how to do the webhook element. So that it used to work through the DMs, but now it pings off into your own private server. But we've got a written guide on how to do that, so we can send that to you and anybody else who needs some help with that.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, I do 100% recommend using the storefront stalker. It's really good. It makes it really easy to find a lot of leads. You just want to storefront stalk the right person, so you can obviously see the signs that they're doing arbitrage, good asing list, good reviews. not sort of really hard to source items, which may be probably wholesale. But yeah, finding the right users, adding them, and then getting a notification, it's a really easy way to find a lot of leads.
Yeah, Loopy Lou, you really want to get onto that. I've just noticed you're on Lifetime as well, so you can monitor 30 stores you could have had on the bot getting automated through to you. So you really need to take advantage of that. That's a huge amount of stores. You'll get sick of the leads, if anything, because there'll be too many to check through. That's our fault. Perhaps we haven't pushed it enough. It's far better than we've sort of advertised it, really, isn't it? You know,
yeah, spot on.
It's underutilized, unfortunately, so that's our bad.
Yeah,
and not many servers have it either.
Exactly.
So it is quite unique to us.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just going to touch upon that there's places out there where you can pay for it separately. But as I said, our sort of main ambition is to make sure that you've got everything covered in the server. So rather than paying for like a third-party service, we've just made it all in-house. And that by the way, is also custom-made in-house. So again, we're not relying on a third-party user. We can add that extra functionality, that speed as well. BND, yeah, good question. So we put that on hold because we wanted to expand the server. It is still going on in the background. We are keen to sort of kickstart that, but yeah, the key focus for now was to sort of rebrand the server and just integrate so many things. And as you can see, it's not just a couple more members of staff, it's a lot of different features, which obviously takes a lot of work as well. So that was our main focus initially. Hopefully when this sort of settles a little bit, we can start looking at some of our other partnerships and businesses as well, such as the VA service.
We just say as well, like all the stuff that's being brought in is to make members as much money as they can from so many different avenues. But if you're not making money and you're looking at people in success and stuff and thinking, I find Vinted complicated, or I find A2A, I don't know how to do it, storefront stalker, just open a ticket and just talk to staff, and that's what staff are there for. They're there to help you. I was going to say any time of the day, but obviously early hours of the mornings we try and sleep, but just open tickets and have conversations with staff and get to know the new channels, get to know the old ones, and just get up to speed with what you've got available for you.
Spot on. Paul, it's been a while since I spoke to you, man. I actually weirdly miss your accent. I'm glad I joined this call now.
You've been hiding for too long.
I know, man.
You've been in the back room developing.
I think you owe me money, that's why I haven't seen you for so long.
All right, guys, speaking to you all, I gotta go. Am I joking? No, exactly. No, I have been busy, Paul, man. But it's just so many integrations, so many different systems, and yeah, the idea is with so many things going on in the background, sort of in the back end, the front end, which is obviously members, they'll just reap the rewards. So yeah, man, exciting times, definitely.
Yeah, I think the in-house monitors are going to be massive, and then members are going to see the difference. As I say, everyone's using the Keeper model, loads of other Discord using it. We're going to be faster than they are. Obviously, their members are going to be like, well, what's happening? Why are so Central getting all the products before us? It happens when we used to do the sneakers with Ace Flips. We got monitors faster than everyone else, and we were just cashing in. So hopefully that's what happened for our members, and they see the difference in it.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, definitely, man. I'm excited, and I think I'm just so happy that everything's built in house. So a really good example is Vinted. I think only a couple of weeks ago, Vinted, they updated a lot of things. A lot of people had the bots closed, but because ours was built in house, we just weren't relying on anyone. We didn't need to wait on anyone. We didn't need to say, oh, what's going on here, and raise a ticket, blah, blah, blah. And that really does give us the edge. And as you said, Paul, those little micro changes, being that 1 minute faster, especially in this sort of day and age where there's lots of groups, there's lots of sellers, it does make a big difference. So yeah, man, should be good.
Has anybody listening along got anything else they would like to ask us, especially while we've got Top Dog in the room with us, before we start to think about calling it a night?
Even if it's nothing to do with the new updates, it can be something to do that we've had for a long time. Just any questions that you've got in your head. If you don't want to ask them here or you don't want to type them, you can open a ticket, as I say. But any questions you've got, well, Can's here now. Pick his brains.
Yeah, we say it every time. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There'll be other people sat here wondering the same thing.
Well, you could say a Man United going to win the league, and that's a stupid question. So there's things that you don't want to say, but
yeah, was there a reason to bring up United, Paul?
Yeah.
Now Everton and above United, I'm pretty much all for it.
All right, stay still on the call. Can you dock Paul's wages, please? I'm just tired of him.
Already done.
Thank you.
And anyone who waiting for Elia to ask a question in the chat. But besides that, after Elliot again, if anyone has got anything they want to ask about, even if they think they know what we're talking about now, and then it comes to later tonight or tomorrow, and you're a bit stuck on some of the new updates, just open a ticket, as I say, and we'll answer any questions you've got.
With being in Lifetime, is it just all group leads, or do they get other leads only for the Lifetime members? One of the main perks there, I think, is that you get all of the group leads, so you're not sort of defined to one group. You get all 4 groups, but because the Lifetime group is, relatively small in comparison, it doesn't really affect the competition, but is a massive perk for those that are in there. And as I say, the additional features like being able to monitor 30 stores on the storefront bot, whereas pro level membership is 5 stores, if I remember rightly, which is still good. That's what I use, and any more than that, I struggle to keep up with anyway. So 30 stores is unreal, especially if you get your stores right. Takes some time tinkering and adding and removing and figuring out which ones work for you and which ones don't. You've obviously got to look at things like if you're a relatively new seller, there's no point in picking sellers with thousands of reviews, because they're so much further ahead in the game. They have so much more buying power. They're probably going direct to brand and wholesalers. You want to look to sellers that are perhaps just a little bit ahead of you in the game. If you're on, say, sub 50 reviews, if you start looking at somebody with 1,000 reviews, you're going to struggle to compete and perhaps find the deals they do. But you hover around people with 100, 150 reviews, maybe even a bit more. You'll that they're going to be in a similar position to you, just perhaps more experienced, so they're going to be finding those deals, or they've got their own VAs who are sourcing for them, and you're able to catch them shortly after they have, while the deals are still on. So picking the right stores and removing the ones that aren't really giving you anything, just keeping your eye on it, and trying to keep it as functional and as useful as possible. I think I've just covered that there, George, with beginner's tips. Is there a prize if Man United get relegated? I mean, can you imagine? That's... Yeah. What world are we living in where that's actually a serious question? Do you know what I mean? I know he's winding up, but that is it's probably still quite unlikely, but it's certainly possible, isn't it? Like, what is going on? I've given up with it. I don't watch football now. I'm so fed up with it. I've given up. There is no point in watching anymore. It's like watching a TV show you don't like. You know what I mean? It's just, how long can you put up with something that's that bad? It's unreal. Any real football fan will hate me for saying it, of course. You're not a true fan. No, If anybody pisses me off for this long, I'm going to cut them out. The problem is, a lot of people, sort of my kind of age bracket, we've only ever known them winning. And now we're going through what we're probably on 10 years of us declining. We can't cope with it because we just don't know anything else. And, you know, Liverpool did it, didn't they? You know, back in the 80s, 90s, whatever it was, they had the run and then dropped off again. But they found their way back up. And we'll find our way back up, of course we will. But, God, it's fucking painful waiting, isn't it?
Could be worse, guys. You could support Everton, and we've never seen winning.
Yeah, but at least you're getting a nice new stadium. Do you know what I mean? We're getting nothing here.
Your stadium's leaking as well, isn't it?
Oh, honestly, I went and did the tour a few weeks ago because my lad's only 8 and he's just got into football in this last year, plays for the local team and stuff, and we got it in for his birthday because he loves going to the match. And I felt tight saying to him the last time we left the match, he was so upset. I think we lost 3-1 on a weeknight, so we had a late night for school and everything. But it was, it was a big treat. And I said, look, we're not going again because I'm absolutely sick to death of spending my money. It's a day do at the end of the day, just to go a match these days. And I'm so fed up with it. And then he's like, oh, but I still want to go. And I'm like, why? You were in tears by half time then. What? You didn't enjoy that one bit? And I was like, oh,
how many inky jets would you have bought with that money?
Oh, honestly,
Ollie, do Amazon accept Quick-Eater invoices as authentic? So on the Quick-Eater site, there is filters, if I'm correct, and then there is one to tell you if invoices are accepted by Amazon and stuff like that. So it's just about looking around. Obviously, as Khan said, it's a third-party one, so just be cautious and take your time on there. But there is bits that tell you what's accepted by Amazon and stuff like that.
Yeah, spot on. The general consensus is for ungates, you probably won't get very far using. I know some people have got some success, but in general, won't get too far. And then so long as you've got a verified supplier, it should be fine in terms of proving authenticity.
But I'm looking, no one else is typing, so that might be it for tonight. If anyone else has got anything to add before we go. But if not, obviously, guys, amazing walkthrough. This will be recorded, so for visuals and obviously for you to listen to.
Hopefully, you saw the issue I had at the start with broken cables. So luckily, can't miss that, and he won't be firing me for it. But fucking,
it's funny that I got my wages docked, but yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Any issues?
It is recording, so as long as it's worked, I'll have this up tomorrow, hopefully.
Famous last words, Gaz.
Fuck it, I'm having one of them days. I'm going to die on this hill tonight.
Just for members, just ask questions. Open ticket. Ask questions to other members. All you can do, other people in the is either ignore you or give you an answer. You're not losing nothing. Open a ticket. Ask staff. We're here more or less all day. Some of the youngers stay up till silly hours.
Youngers? I'm up till 2 a.m.
I know, but you're not exactly youngers, are you?
No, but you can.
1920s, aren't you? More than in your 20s.
Yeah.
But yeah, open tickets, ask questions, and then obviously updates will be coming, and we're going to just feed the new channels in. Refer a friend, 15 quid. Like, just say to someone who's doing the FBA, listen, join this group. We've got in-house monitors. We're faster than everyone else. We've got vintage monitors, good eco, you know what I mean? We've got things coming. You get £15 fully fair and someone. We fair 3-4 people, you know what I mean? You're talking £45-60. And it's not as if you're selling a dead horse. They'll get here and see it's much better than what they've got at the minute. So it's easy money, really. Besides that, there's memberships, pro memberships, there's yearly, lifetimes, all there. If you're interested, open tickets. Speak to Imran. speak to Karen, speak to staff. But besides that, thanks very much for joining us, and there will be more workshops coming. I think I'm going to do one on getting your money back off Amazon from damaged stock or lost stock or stuff like that, maybe next week. There's a few more coming, and we've got the group podcast at the end of the month. But if anyone else has got anything more to add, jump in now.
No, good session.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for joining, Cam.
No problem. See you later, guys.
Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you later in the week, if not next week.